Hey there, today we're going to be taking a first look at New World, the MMO offered by Amazon Game Studios. This is all based on the closed beta, so the final product may be different, but the game is set to release August 31st, so I don't expect any ground-shattering changes between now and then. I have roughly 13 hours on record so far from the first and second day, and I've streamed most of it on my Twitch channel, so go follow me there and help me hit affiliate. The link for that is in the description down below. During this, I tried to play with as many different weapons, as well as play different ways, doing PvE, PvP, and delving into the crafting, gathering, and refining. So now, I'm going to get right into this first look and give some thoughts on the current systems. Character customization is the first thing you will do in the game, and I feel that it's kind of mediocre. With preset faces and heads with what I'd consider limited hairstyles, it was hard to get behind this overall. I settled for a mohawk with a handlebar mustache because I couldn't find any serious hairstyles I preferred. I'm really hoping to see a wider variety in character customization, either at launch or post-launch. The controls are very smooth and clean, and it feels really nice to play. I did, however, have some issues when it came to the bow with the repelling shot skill. It would be delayed on press sometimes, and it made for some scary situations when the rest of the abilities are instant use on press. And this brings me right into the combat system, which feels amazing. I really enjoy the current systems, but can't recommend enough learning how to use the dodge and block effectively. This will be an absolute game changer. At the beginning, I would just block a lot, like I was playing a high poise build in Dark Souls, and it did get me demolished sometimes in PvE and PvP. If you let your stamina bar deplete all the way, you get staggered and will be left open for some serious damage. Once I started to use dodge, I picked up some passives as well that benefited that, and it changed how I move in fights dramatically. I've never played an MMO that feels this satisfying simply to auto attack in. I feel like they did an amazing job with the combat, and I enjoy playing every second of it. The main story so far has been good, with the little journals and notes you're finding along the way definitely helping with world building and showing you this beautifully created world. I honestly got sidetracked from the main story for a little bit and absolutely forgot what was going on for a few quests, but was quickly brought back on track. Unfortunately, I am only level 16 right now and have not gotten very far into the story, so I can't speak on the story as a whole quite yet. The in-game economy and controls are really interesting. Each city has taxes that are initially given to no one, but after a company, this game's guilds, take control, they use the taxes to maintain the upkeep of the settlement and upgrade the amenities within the settlement to hopefully draw more people there. These companies of players don't make a direct gain from doing so, as the taxes go to the represented faction instead, which thankfully means that when they increase taxes, they aren't filling their own pockets. Each city also has a different market, so a single group or company would have to work really hard to be able to maintain a monopoly server-wide, unlike other MMOs. The markets also have buy and sell orders, allowing you to catch a product at the price you are willing to pay instead of being at the whim of the sellers entirely. The menus, UI, and the HUD are all very pleasing. Some players have complained very vocally in the global chat about the size of them, but even on my 144Hz 1080p screen, I don't have an issue with HUD bloat in the slightest. Instead of a minimap, we simply have a compass at the top of the screen that tracks all quests, waymarks, and even resources as you level up different skills. The only real negative I had was the split function. It didn't really explain what you had to do to split a stack of a material, and I definitely sat there for a minute or two trying to figure out that I simply needed to drag it to make the split work. That could easily be fixed with a prompt of some kind, so it's very far from game breaking. Factions are a major part of the game, forcing you to pick the Covenant, the Syndicate, or the Marauders pretty early on in your playtime. I'm a big fan of the 3-team PvP setup, and it can lead to some very memorable skirmishes if it's anything like Guild Wars 2 or Elder Scrolls Online, but I'm concerned about the longevity of this system. I'm hoping the systems put in place to avoid monopolies from occurring across each server works, so that one faction being the obvious choice in server selection isn't the norm. If they have that squared away, then these choices will be a really fun metagame opportunity and will make a great PvP experience as well. Navigation and travel feels wondrous at first, walking around this amazing world, fighting monsters and finding loot as you make your way from a quest giver to an objective, and then suddenly, I was over it. I feel it happened around the first time I had a quest about 2 kilometers away from me. I slapped on auto run, tabbed out of the game, wondering why mounts weren't a thing. I do enjoy moving around the world, but some parts of it feel spaced out, and it hurt to spend several minutes just running. The game does have fast travel if you've been to a location before, but it isn't something they want you to do frequently. It requires a currency known as Azoth that you can obtain from quests and randomly from enemies that are considered corrupted. The enemy drops for this seem very low, and the quests give you 10 Azoth typically, with it taking roughly 60 Azoth to do a one-way trip to the next closest city. This is also influenced by weight, so you aren't tempted to move materials from one city to another to sell things regularly. You do get one fast travel back to the last inn you checked into once every 60 minutes as well. I feel that this design is definitely there to keep you in the same place, working up reputation systems and defending or attacking for resources. But personally, I really love exploring a world and dislike feeling inhibited in such a manner. I'm not really that far yet, so I'm really hoping as I go on that it will feel better in that regard. The social features so far are interesting. I like that the factions are further divided up into companies, only allowing members of the same faction to team up. So make sure you and your friends are on the same page. I'm looking at you, Frankie, the only marauder on my friends list. The world chat is nice, but sometimes it can be a little bit much, just like most games. The proximity chat was unfortunately disabled for most of my day one playing, so I didn't get to really experience this out in the wild or while running around the cities crafting. I'm hoping in my next video about this, I'll be able to give a solid review of the function as a whole. The leveling progression feels really good. So good, in fact, I quit leveling my main character in lieu of leveling everything else up. It doesn't feel tedious and drawn out though, and you can level up a lot simply by staying on the main quest if you want to focus on getting max rank. Sometimes the weapons felt like they were taking a while to level up comparatively, but I also feel that hinged on the fact I was a higher base level when I started using the weapons that were still at level 1. It might have something to do with scaling, but it wasn't terrible. The crafting and refining specifically felt really good. I like the nature of the one-click crafting as offered within the game. Whether it's 300 leathers or 1 lumber, you will craft them all at the same time and you'll get the XP from all of the crafts. By the time I went to a tanning rack my first time, I went from level 0 to level 37 from my first set of skins. The only one that feels comparatively slow is alchemy, but that also might have had to do heavily with the scarcity of gathering nodes within Everfall, which is area I started in. Gathering feels very similar. It isn't hard, you just move to the resource and collect it, watching a circle deplete as your character works away. It's a one-click system, but the longer it takes, the more resources you get and the more XP you get. The only negative I have with the gathering system is that the nodes are on timers and shared across the server. If I mine a gold ore node, no one else will be able to mine it for 10 to 15 minutes. I can easily see this leading to having people camping nodes since spawns aren't random, making getting resources difficult. It would be nice if the nodes came back quickly, but the previous person had a lockout from gathering it. This would easily stop people from hoarding resource locations, which can be a real problem in some games. Side quests are exactly that. Side quests, requiring very little effort to complete and giving mediocre rewards. One of the best things about them though in this game is the world building they offer to the characters within the settlements. By doing side quests in a settlement, you can see how those characters interact with each other, and you can see how they interact with characters from other settlements. I really like the world building this entails, allowing you to feel like part of this living world. My only gripe with any of the side quests, which might be a very personal gripe, is the PvP quests you get from your faction. If you die, they are reset and removed from your quest log. I'm fine with losing them upon death, but it stings a lot worse when you've already completed all 3 that you can get and you die on your way back to the settlement. It's working exactly as intended, but it's a very frustrating way to lose about 20 minutes of your time. Overall, I'm a big fan of this game. I'm just cresting level 17, so far from the end game, but the systems feel amazing and I can easily see myself getting my money's worth when this game officially launches on August 31st. Even if I get bored and leave after leveling, the fact that they made me enjoy leveling is an enormous plus, and it speaks volumes about the care they put into designing this game from the core. Being in beta, there have been server issues, but that's to be expected from any MMO. Even WoW and 14 will be overtaxed when new expansions launch. The only thing I want to see from them on launch will be dedicated servers for Central US. Having servers on both the East Coast and West Coast physically completely divides the player base just by looking at ping. I would like some more centralized servers so that I can more reliably play with my friends on the East Coast and within Central US. I am going to make another video on this as I get further into the beta, and we'll even cover different builds and content as it goes on. If you want to see more gameplay, feel free to like and subscribe and follow me on Twitch. I'm really working for affiliate over there, and I'm going to start streaming daily. My next video will be the first in a series for Destiny 2, so please look forward to that as well. Thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.